Welcome to Gunchannels After Dark. This is a rated R lobby. Rated R for reloading and adult language and content. Kitty should be in bed. It's late at night. I definitely have a couple cuss words I want to express right now. Oh boy. I've had a long day, long week. Is it Friday yet? Yeah. I wish today was Friday. I kept thinking today was Friday. I got a bunch of reloading done though, or at least brass prep and cleaning. Oh. See, I sent out some links out there, so we'll see who all joins. Oh, maybe I need to PM a couple links too. Let's see. Let me see. How do I do this? Probably go into my email. I'll refresh my email. Go in here. There we go. All right, I set a bunch of links out there. See if anyone even joins in. Was it like 120 degrees at anyone else's house today? Damn, it was hot today. I sweated all day. I just barely went and changed my shirt and stuff and just, yep. And definitely had a workout today. Let's see out there. YouTube side. The G-Webs was saying something was going to go away today. I don't know if it was the private chat or the chats in the chats. Hopefully get in a new system. Nice clean glasses. Oh, it's so nice having an air conditioner blow right on you. Oh, no, turn back on. I feel like I got a lot done today. I like that feeling. Tomorrow I got some presents courtesy of Amazon coming. I'm excited for. Especially my washer pump. Looks like Sarge is going live in 12 hours at 11 a.m. tomorrow. The Alpha Outpost Trail, July 2019. I don't know if he's going live or if it's a premiere. I'm guessing it's live. It says live in 12 hours. So he'll be at the Alpha Outpost Trail. So yeah, he says he's going to do it 1 p.m. Eastern. That'd be 11 a.m. my time. So that'll be awesome. I wonder what that's all about. He says, provided it arrives on time. I'm not sure what's arriving on time. Is that like a train ride? Maybe it's a tram or something like that. It'll be cool to tune in tomorrow and see what that's about. Today was 7-Eleven day, free Slurpee day. Anyone go get their free Slurpees? I was going to, but then I said screw it. I was just too busy. Plus, like for the little tiny Slurpee they give you, I don't even know if it's worth stopping. Now, if you had a bunch of them around you, like a bunch of 7-Elevens around you, you could hit up like 4 or 5 of those on the way home. You'd almost make like one complete Slurpee. You had a bunch of them around you, a bunch of 7-Elevens around you. What's that?
Look at me.
I think, yeah, if you had a bunch of 7-Elevens around you, you could hit them all up.
Oh, the first one you go to, they pick the biggest marker and they tag your hand. And then they require that you present the free Slurpee with that hand all the time.
Well, really?
No.
Oh, I was gonna say that would suck.
People are like washing their hands and stuff. I figured you just go in there and get a Slurpee. You're saying there's some like little tasty Slurpee? Like that's a ripoff. It should be just whatever you want out of the Slurpee machine today.
Oh no, it's like a little teeny tiny one. It's like I don't know, a 6-ouncer or something, or 8-ouncer. It's tiny.
I mean, I kind of want a Slurpee. I haven't had a Slurpee in forever. Let's see. It's free Slurpee day. How about if I actually get it from 7-Eleven themselves? Is that possible?
And if you have one of those 7-Eleven like account things, if you scan it, the app or whatever at the thing while you're getting your free Slurpee, then you also get a free Slurpee tomorrow. I know that.
All right, 7-Eleven, free Slurpee drink on 7-Eleven. Check out how to get another free one, free Slurpee. Get a free Slurpee all day on 7-Eleven. Oh, it's only till 7 p.m. 7 to
Oh, really?
11 to 7. Instead of being from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m., it's 11 to 7.
Oh, what a crock.
Man. And then like you said, you can get some other one. Then they got gross things you can eat there. But yeah, it looks like you're going to get a small Slurpee on 7-Eleven day. It's still a small one, though. It isn't like a dinky one. It's their small size.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like I saw a picture of it and it looked like on Instagram and it looked like some special super small cup.
That's what I thought too. But doesn't matter. I can't get one now. It's too late. Thanks for nothing, 7-Eleven. They should have delivered them. I feel like they should deliver them since they're free. Well, everybody was just in there chatting now. Sarge is off air. But then they all went to bed. They live on the East Coast.
Yep. I'm too like amped up. I've been working like too hard. I'm not gonna like wind down for like an hour or so. I've been going nonstop.
Well, I've been chatting for a bit. I need to let the dog out and be back and forth here for a bit, working on some stuff. So
All right.
I'm going to be here, but I'll be back and forth.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have this open if anyone wants to jump in.
Do you want me to start what do you call it or something? A podcast or something?
Sure.
Got any preferences?
No.
I think riding shotguns are about 20 minutes, and we'll see what Charlie's got. Oh, Woods jumped in. We got somebody to talk to. He doesn't like listening to riding shotguns with Charlie. We know his opinions on that.
Yeah. You always badmouth that guy.
So he's like, driving around, it's unsafe like that. Plus, they're talking about guns. That's violent. They're going to get all amped up and hurt someone. Look, he's not even denying none of this.
Yeah.
Literally, that's the same as agreeing with it.
I didn't do it.
There he is.
Well, I'm hoping my internet stays. I've been off and on like every 20 minutes. It just shuts down for like 10 minutes.
Oh, are you using the hotel Wi-Fi or are you using your mobile data?
I'm not using up my mobile data. I'm not an unlimited kind of guy. I got too many people on my package.
All of our phones, we get 5 gigs. That's like high speed, and then after that, it's everything's like. Then they just throttle us down. But I figured out how to like circumvent that.
I've got both my kids, my wife, and my parents. I got my nephew, my cousin, my mom and my dad, both my kids, and my wife and me. I pay enough. I'm not giving all of them unlimited data. No.
That's why I'm never ever changing my package that I got. I got 5 phones with that for $100.
I'm going to say this with love. I hate you.
Yeah, I'm never ever gonna change it, man. It's too good not to change. And even when they throttle me down right after I go over my 5 gigs, if I just make a phone call and like immediately hang up after it just rings one time, doesn't matter who you call, you just make a phone call. That's all I got to do, and then I'm back to like the 4G LTE high speed data. And even when they throttle you, it's not bad. It's like still enough to watch YouTube in like just a lower definition.
Are you on your phone there, Dad?
No, I'm on my laptop right now.
I can't screen share, but that photo I sent you today.
Yep.
So, there's this photo that says like it was an anti-gun one that I've been in this school for like like most of the week, and I didn't even realize that right inside the door, big sign, maybe I don't know, 3 foot by 4 foot. We're the future, end gun violence. And these kids walk into the school and out of the school every single friggin' day with this sign above them: guns are bad, guns are bad, guns are bad. I sat there for about 10 minutes figuring out how I could rip the damn thing down without getting caught.
Talking like a poster or what?
Yeah, like a poster, and then it had another one that was like gender politics, like non-binary is okay, and then there was another one that was some other like unicorns and rainbows and another hippie bullshit. But there was like 4 or 5 hippie bullshit ones all in a row.
What age school?
Elementary school, so that's K5. It's not like the 5th graders all of a sudden put that up there. That's a bunch of the teachers in there being all like super like, let's have an agenda. It pisses me off.
What would happen if you accidentally knocked that down?
Well, the problem is like it's about 15 feet in the air, so I'd have to like, and I don't work there, so I'd have to like go get a table and then like put a chair on it and like precariously try to like jump up and grab it, or like
you should find one that's like really, really close to it and people probably wouldn't even notice and just swap it.
That would be the shit. Like, guns aren't the problem. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, that is actually kind of awesome. If I had more time, I'd run over to Kinko's, like print something up.
Take a picture of it. We'll like engineer one up, and just take it up and like unroll it with like you make the duplicate on shelf paper or something, so it just can unroll and stick right to the old one.
Right. Because the key there is just walk in like I own the place, like I'm supposed to be doing that. Like make the janitor get me
Exactly.
some
Where's
ladders
the
to check.
janitor? Where's the janitor? You're supposed to bring me a ladder. I guess I can do it with this table.
Yeah, or they come in with a clipboard with a form, make him sign that I was there to do it.
Oh, we're supposed to take this sign down. It's wrong.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether this school is I think it might be some weird private school because I've been looking around and it's like, it says something community school, like whatever the area is. Usually it says public school, but I'm not. It could be like a public charter or something. But like, I didn't like any of them. Like, why have that? That intersectional bullshit up there too. I mean, like, come on now. How about we just teach them like be kind to other people? How about we just start with all the shit we can agree with? Like, don't punch each other in the face. Let's just have that.
Do they still do sex ed in school?
Oh yeah.
So when they did it for us, it was like fourth or fifth or sixth grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, maybe. So
Yeah, it's fair.
so that means that kids are going through kindergarten, first, second, third, fourth, having to see that sign before they even know what to ask the question. You know what I mean? Like before they're even at a level of maturity where they're figure that they tell them about that stuff, right?
Right.
Yeah, so that makes no sense. Like make 6 years worth or 4 years worth of kids question something that is way beyond their scope. Seems, I don't know.
Yeah,
Either
that's a good point. I really like it.
it's either that's like, I don't know, it's either like you want to put stuff out there that makes them question, right? So you want to put like some math or like, hey, do you know what physics is? Like that seems like a question, right? Like, hey, do you know what physics is? Like you don't know what you can't conceptualize it yet, but you know that's just something out there that you don't know what it is yet. One day you'll be big enough to know, something like that. Like there's probably something worth telling kids, like what the future is going to hold for them a little bit. But I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like they could use that. You could use that space for just the general things that we can all agree on, regardless of like your political views or something. Like friendship is a good thing. Like unless you're a complete asshole, you like having friends and you like being kind to people.
Just replace it with a thing that says like you shouldn't get your opinions based on posters. Posters
True.
that stand for basically garbage. Like, don't listen to me. Just have that poster that says, "Don't listen to what I'm telling you."
At least I get to leave tomorrow.
Well, you got 9 people watching out there. I'm gonna go take a dog out. Let her pee pee.
So tomorrow's your last day of this hell?
Yeah. I already warned the people that I came here with that that none of them are like going to be my boss or anything. Like I said, like I told you, I found out that the boss I thought I had actually moved on to another district, so I don't even know who I answer to. But it'll be fine. It's not like I don't really need somebody to tell me how to run my classroom. But since there's nobody really watching me, I feel like if it's supposed to leave at 3:30 and I left at 2:30, who the fuck's gonna know?
Yeah, that's true.
Because I don't. I have to drive back through Seattle and then back through Tacoma in order to get home. I think it'll be like Gilligan's Island. I think it's gonna be a 3-hour tour.
Do they got like an open bar there or anything for you guys?
I wish.
I've been to events like that where they've had open bars.
Well, it's in a school, so
Or
you
you
can't
get
have
a bar tab. Like I've been to places where they'll give you like, oh, you get a $50 bar tab like per night. So like then everything over $50 is on you.
Oh, you mean like at my hotel?
Yeah, included with your hotel, like you get like a little package when you're going to some of these
Oh
conferences.
no, dude! I work for school, and they're like my hotel's so nice that when you open the door, you're going to outside. It's one of those hotels.
Oh,
Earlier
first class.
when I was smoking, I had an awesome conversation with a couple homeless dudes. I asked them. They asked me if I had any money, and I told them this is a cashless society. If you guys take Square, I could probably help you out. They didn't like my answer so much.
I
I
bet.
wasn't
Yeah.
bothering them.
Wait till you meet
Yeah.
one. Wait till you meet one that's like, oh, I take PayPal.
You know what? If he's got PayPal, $5. I'm in. Let's do that. You're an entrepreneur. You're gonna go someplace. You're
No,
getting
see,
out
that's
of
where
this
he
one.
waits for you to sign in on your phone, and like and everything, then hits you over the head, then transfers all your money because like your password.
That's okay. You know what protects my credit? The fact that my debt income ratio is so high that they're going to deny him credit too. So it's fine. And then last night, the canine unit drove through here like 3 times.
No,
That's always fun. You know you're in a good
you
hotel
should
when you
step
look
out
at
of
the.
your hotel room and shine your flashlight at them. They'd love that.
Well, you know that it's when you look at the door jamb. Whenever I'm at a hotel, I look at the door jamb and see if it's been jimmied.
See how many times
I'm
it's
like,
been kicked in and repaired.
yeah, oh yeah. I'm only like, this is pretty nice because the people that run it, I've talked to them. There's this nice little Korean couple and their son. I mean, they're good people. They're good Americans. They're trying to do the best they can. It's clean, like, but it's not a nice hotel. But I mean, it's not terrible either, you know. But I'm like, there's only like a 70% chance or a 30% chance that somebody was murdered in here, which is pretty low for these kind of hotels.
Yeah, only 70% chance. I don't know. I don't know. There's been a hotel that I would not stay in once, man. I was like, nope, we're checking back out. It was just so bad.
I'm like that if my wife's with me. Like if it's not nice, I'm like, fuck that, I'm out. But if it's just me, I'm such a cheapskate. I will. It could say Murder Hotel right on the side of it, and they're like $49. I'm like, I'm in. I ain't afraid of no ghosts. I already told you about the $20 bill I found earlier, right?
Yeah, that was a score.
I'm
I
just
didn't
saying,
want to happen
breakfast.
today.
I'm in. The universe buys me breakfast tomorrow. I'm in. Let's do this. How'd your brass come out?
Beautiful, dude. Absolutely beautiful.
Okay, really quickly, raise your arms above your head. Go.
Oh, yeah. There's no way. My arms feel like jello, dude. that bottle weighs 4 pounds, right? And 4 pounds doesn't sound like a lot. But when you sit there for like 45 minutes, like straight,
Yeah.
and you're really trying to like, kind of be quick at it, make it effective, it ain't no joke. It's a good workout. But not only that, I did a bunch of other shit today too.
What about? Remember, I was trying to convince you earlier to in your other chat to make a mechanical advantage, but still do the thing with your bottle idea. But try to do it on the cheap. Would this be a terrible idea? What about a paint shaker?
Mm, I don't know.
Because that shit
Probably.
shakes the shit out of stuff, right?
Yeah. Mm,
Or would it just break that bottle all to hell?
Would it beat up the brass? Like you don't want to
yeah.
abuse brass. You're just trying to agitate the water, right? You're not trying to
Yeah.
make the brass.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because if you start bending rims, I mean, I don't know, something like 45 ACP, that's probably not an issue. But a little tiny tinfoil caliber, like 9 millimeter, you'd come out with it look like a bunch of little wide. Like if somebody got done eating Hershey's Kisses and it's like a little pile of tinfoil balls, that's what 9 millimeter would look like if it came out of that. And there'd even be little pieces of paper, like little fortune cookie things coming out, like that Hershey Kisses have. Do you mind if you lock on me so I can use this video to pull the video from when I'm drawing this thing?
What are you drawing, G?
I don't know. Charlie Cook?
Yeah, that's my one. Did you see that the two ladies that were part of the DC project made riding shotgun without Charlie?
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty badass.
Drawing with my mouse. Is Armed and Feminine the one that started the whole thing? She might.
Of the DC project? I'm not sure.
I know Amanda is the radio show host. She's the first female syndicated radio host.
Yeah, I know. I never heard of it until I started watching Charlie stuff.
I forgot. Hers is Eye on the Target Radio, I think. Amanda's.
I think you're right. Yeah.
And then the other one is Armed and Feminine, I think. She does YouTube stuff, but she's also like an activist. She does things. She's like a speaker or something.
Right. She went to the she's at the thing too, right? Didn't he interview her as well?
At DC Project, like I say, I think she might be the one that started DC Project. I'd have to go look. Let's go look. Totally did not know.
Well, I know that like Charlie has interviewed like 6 or 7 of them now.
Well, you'd have 50 of them, right?
Yeah. He drove down to DC a couple days ago. I thought that was pretty badass. Like he was smart enough to like they're all going to be in one place. I'm going to go down there. We're going to drive around. I'm going to get a whole bunch of videos done.
There it is, that info. That's one of the reasons I got my mouse throttled down. Diana Mueller. So no, that's not her. Retired law enforcement.
Yeah, isn't she? Yeah, she's a professional shooter now, right?
Yeah, but she's not the armed and feminine one that was on with the that we're doing riding shotgun without Charlie. I thought it was
Okay.
I thought it was her, but it isn't. And this is not her either, Robin Sandoval.
No.
Oh no, yeah, definitely not. I feel like I should add both of those ladies to the list. Sort of an activism thing to do to start a 50-state campaign to make.
Yeah, if they didn't make it, I mean, if they wouldn't make it, what would be your criteria? That sounds like right in your ballpark there.
Oh, you know what? You know what? I'm doing this like a sucker. Oh, wrong button. I'm doing this on this screen because I'm so used to doing screen shares on that screen like a chump. I can put this on my big screen. I'm over here like cricking my neck and straining my eyes to see this thing. Now it's on my giant monitor that I own to do this on. Holy Lord.
You use your technology like it's you intended.
Yeah, well, the whole reason that I was doing it this way instead of having Dead Horse just lock on my screen and let me just pull his video down later to edit this piece out is that otherwise I got to use my software. My software can only use the one monitor that's connected to the laptop, that little tiny dinky thing. Yeah, so I was over here like literally thinking, man, my neck hurts. Like, oh, my neck hurts, and like that thing between your eyes on top of your nose, like that area is hurting from squinting. Oh, what the fuck is this? I'm bringing that on myself. And now I throttle my mouse down. I can throttle it down to here, and I'm winging my mouse all over, and it's barely moving on the screen. So I'll bring it up one notch. Well, that doesn't look like Charlie at all.
Did I tell you he did a gun grants for when I got out of school?
Uh-huh. Oh. So that's how you don't do it.
Is it harder to draw the people like me that have the chubby faces?
No, it's just harder to meet. It's when I met people, it's tougher. If I don't know them, then all I know, like, or even with Charlie, I mean, I've never met him, but I've seen him live enough that I've seen him move around. But like when you've only seen pictures of people, it's real easy to be done. Like, okay, that looks right. I don't know.
Yeah, because you don't really know if it's even close or anything.
Right. But basically just try to get the eyes to be like as close as possible, and then that sort of makes it like if you got the eyes right, the rest of it falls in for some reason, I think.
I know he's going to the gun rights policy conference because that's where he gets a lot of that. He got a lot of people last year, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they have him talk at the thing, because he is kind of a speaker, you know. Well, he is a speaker.
Yeah. We should get you in the car with him, but you have to we'd have to blur out your side.
Yeah, I don't know if I got anything to tell him, but I'm sure he'll have a booked thing at Gun Rights Policy. I might give him some interesting routes so that he can go see some neat shit instead of just. I don't know if that's his thing though, is to kind of just drive, or if he is.
No, like one time he went to the Concord Bridge. Like he's totally into like the last one they went to. They were in Philadelphia, so they went to the Rocky Stairs, and like a lot of times it's like, and makes sense where like he's in the town of the person that he's driving around,
Mhm.
and like they want to go somewhere. So like, what's the interesting thing in this town? Yeah, I think he would really like that.
You know, the PVC patches act as like ballistic panels.
How do you mean?
So on my dog's little harness, those PVC patches are actually pretty thick. You know, so from like a bite or something, I could totally see them acting as like ballistic panels.
Hmm.
Like they're like really thick. And I bet it'd be pretty hard to puncture those and then go through the vest too and all that. I bet you like they would absorb a lot of that shock and a lot of the stuff. They'd be like a ballistic panels.
For like another dog biting him.
Yeah, from another dog biting my little chihuahua. So I put like a bunch of patches on her like little harness, right? And like yeah, like those PVC ones are total like ballistic panels, man. They really are. Like when you really think about it, like from another bigger dog bite or something like that, like they would totally be like ballistic panels. Maybe even from a snake bite too. All the snakes are out right now. I've already seen like 3 rattlesnakes so far this year.
That's one thing I'm glad about Washington. We don't have anything like that. No creepy, crawly, poisonous, nothing.
We just got rattlesnakes, and they're pretty easy to see except for the babies. They usually let you know that they see you before you see them. You'll be
We
walking
have this
through the
thing called
desert out
gold.
here. Yeah, you'll be walking through the desert out here, and it's good not to talk or be like listening to stuff, right? It's good to have like your hearing about you because like they'll let you know usually like by the time you're close enough like that they're worried about you, they're already shaking their tail and hissing at you. It's just the babies; those are the ones that you gotta really worry about. Those ones you can like step right on them, just never know they were there. They blend in
Like you
so good.
in Washington, if in Western Washington, if it can kill you, it's bigger than you.
Oh, some of these rattlesnakes, pretty dang big. Not eat you size, but big. And hell, even the bull snakes here get 8-9 feet.
Hell no.
But those are good snakes. Like they usually won't. Like they usually don't mess with cats and dogs because they're not big enough to eat them. Like maybe a small cat or something. But usually they don't mess with like pets. They eat a lot of mice and stuff, but they'll kill and sometimes eat rattlesnakes. So those things are like really good to have around because they kill rattlesnakes. So like we usually like if we see one, we'll usually pick it up and put it in and then drive it out of the neighborhood and then deposit it right back on the edge of the neighborhood because it's like a border, like you know, like it sits there out there in that field and eats the mice and eats the rattlesnakes before they can come into the neighborhood. Like those are good to have around.
You got a bigger set than me. I wouldn't go anywhere near that. Hell no.
Snakes don't bother me at all. Like yeah, I've hunted rattlesnakes for a long time. Like they don't really. I have like no fear of them like I do little spiders. Little spiders, man, nope, no thank you. Right there, every one of them, it's die, kill it, stomp it, smush
That's
it, burn it with fire. I'll burn my damn house down and kill us to kill a spider.
I have the 2 foot, 4 foot rule. If it has less than 2 feet or more than 4, and it comes near me, that's called Darwin. It dies. That was
Yep.
the one that didn't make it. That's just the universe deciding that one shouldn't breed.
Yep. I don't like spiders, not at all. Big spiders, like I had a rose hair tarantula and stuff. Like the big spiders, they don't bother me at all. Like I can see them coming, like they don't scare me. But like little spiders, black widows, like wolf spiders are a little spider that doesn't bother me, but that's because I know like all the other cool bugs they eat, and I know that they usually won't mess with me and bite me and shit. But there's all sorts of weird ass spiders that nope, I'm not about.
Yeah, I'm not about that.
Nope, not about it. I'm like not like, oh, look at this cool white and red spider I've never seen before, and like look how cool. Nope, it's like where's the torch? Where's where's a big ass flat piece of wood? I don't even like stepping on them anymore because I stepped on one that was like I thought it was just a spider, but it was like its whole thing was covered in babies. I didn't realize it. So now I don't even like to directly step on them. I like to like just grab something big and flat, smash them with something else. I'm like, nope, I'm not throwing away another pair of shoes. Oh boy, it got so hot in my garage today. Oh my gosh.
Is it super hot down there?
Yeah. And plus, well, like I have like an air conditioner for my gun room, but the air conditioner vents into the garage, right? Like so all the heat's going into the garage. And then I had all those machines running, which all generate heat, all using like hot water, built-in heaters in them and stuff. And then I have like a food dehydrator. And those things were running like all day. Because even after I did like my batch testing, like I had the tumblers going just all day just to like try and get these done. And I was probably doing like 500 cases per tumbler. Like I was just maxing out the tumblers. So then they took even a little longer to clean all the brass. So I had them just completely maxed out the capacity basically, like both tumblers going. But I'm trying to get all this brass clean so then like I have like literally I want to get to where I have no dirty brass at all and everything is like resized and like ready to like reload. And then even some of them I have a couple thousand primers here. I'm even going to load up like a couple thousand like 40 and 9 mil and stuff. Like at least primer them, get them ready to go. So then when I find a good deal on like a bulk pack of projectiles, I can just buy like 5,000 projectiles at once, and then I'm going to be set on 40 for like a long time. And then anytime I want, I can just be like, oh, I'm going to whip out and like reload 40 on this press or that press, or do it this way or do it that way, and like that'll be good for like the Saturday thing, for the Saturday reloading chat. Because then I'll just basically have like just a huge amount of projectiles like ready and everything ready to go. So I can just do that at any time.
Yeah, I look forward to buying that shotgun press.
Best press ever. That was my favorite press. That was the neatest damn thing ever. With how easy that is.
That looks like just fun. It doesn't even look like work.
The hard part of work about it is cutting the wads, dude. So I have a plan of getting a socket, just like a regular like socket out of like a ratchet kit, right? And I'm gonna take the socket and I'm gonna grind it so it's really sharp. So it comes to a really sharp point and use that as my punch. And then I'm just going to basically hook it to a handle, like drill a hole through it, bolt it to like a hammer handle or something like that. And then you just sit there and you just smack your cardboard. take an old piece of like laminate flooring or a 2x4 or something, as like the bottom piece to wail on, and then you take your cardboard and you just smack it with a hammer and move it with one hand and just pop, 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 and then it fills up, and then you just poke it through the back, right through the square where the ratchet would hook. You just poke it through the back, and like that stack of like 20 you just cut pop out. You do it to like a deep well socket, and then you just sit there and you smack, and then you just use all your old Amazon cardboard boxes, and
That's a great idea.
yeah, as your overshot card. Like that's the hardest thing is like your way to do it is your overshot card, unless you want to load to where you're at like full case capacity. And unless you have your powder charge right with the right wad with the right load to where it comes to a certain height in the hole, you're going to have issues of on your crimp. Your crimp's going to turn out shitty. So an overshot card, a piece of cardboard, is like the perfect thing because it has like some give to it. So you don't have to be exactly perfect. And then
especially when I'm loading shots that are different sizes in there.
Yeah. Yeah, and plus if you want to load some of this like low powered loads and just some like pretty standard stuff for skeet and trap, not anything crazy and stuff, right? It doesn't quite fill up a 2 3/4. I'm doing 1 1/8 ounce a shot, and a pretty decent powder charge, and it's not even filling up. I think it was like, what am I doing, like 25 grains or something, and it's not even filling up enough to where I still have to have that overshot card. And some people even trim their holes down a little bit and all sorts of weird stuff. But no, it's too easy to use the cardboard.
When are you making your tool for that?
To do the mini ones?
Or to make the overshot card, the little, because I need to make one myself, but or have you
I
make?
was thinking about just taking it to my grinder. Yeah, like I could make that pretty much any time. I think I could just take it to my grinder. It doesn't got to be perfect. You should see the ones I cut out by hand. Right, it just kind of has to fit in there. It doesn't got to completely fill that spot, so it doesn't got to be.
Yeah, because it doesn't give you that sharp to cut around fucking.
Yeah,
cut
like
some cardboard.
Yeah, so like I've cut like absolutely horrible looking circles out by hand that have been way undersized, but that just fit in there nice, and that's all it needs. So, I'm guessing like what size would I need for that? Like I'm guessing like a 12 millimeter socket or something. I'll also have to go look in my box and see whichever one fits the best. That's not like, I don't want it tight to where you got to like really press it in. I just want to be able to drop it right in and it falls nice and freely right in there on top of the shot.
So just like a couple hairs smaller than the shotgun. Yeah, okay.
Most of mine that I've cut has been quite a bit, like a millimeter all the way around, and not even a perfect millimeter all the way around. Like
okay.
most of mine have been pretty shy. Like they've been pretty awful because I've just eyeballed them all, and just because I don't have the patience to sit there and trace perfect circles or something, like, you know what I mean? So I just eyeballed them all, and just made sure I was cutting them all like small enough that they were going to fit. So, and they all worked great. So it does not have to be anything perfect at all. So a socket, like any socket, pretty much is going to deliver like awesome results. But I was so surprised that like the very cheapest crap I loaded, the very cheapest crap I could make, was automatically out of the box, like shooting tighter spreads, and not with me, but with two of my boys shooting too. So I wanted to make sure like it wasn't just like me and I was seeing things that like, no, like it was repeatable. Like it shot tighter spreads. We took great big huge pieces of cardboard out so we could shoot these big huge pieces of cardboard and really tell. And yeah, we were all shooting the both the Federal and the Winchester bulk boxes, compared just to the very cheapest stuff I could load. And granted, you don't save a lot of money on it, but you do still save some money. I think I was saving like 4 or 5 cents a round. Instead of paying like 25 cents a round, I think I was spending like 20.9 or something, 21 cents. is what I was spending to make my. So you still save some money.
True.
But the ability to just be like, oh, I got a 50 cal muzzle loader. I'm going to make me some balls for my 50 cal muzzle loader. Or you know what? I'm going to make me some duplex or triplex loads or something for the shotgun and have some fun with. Maybe drill a hole through them with one of those little pieces of, like cable or something. Like those crazy rounds. Have you seen those?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
those ones that have.
yeah. That's the cool thing about having the beater shotgun is like
Oh yeah,
you can do all that.
I've got two in mine. I've actually have 3 Mossberg 500s that I didn't spend more than $100 on any one of them. So if I shot it 200 times and had a great time and fucked the barrel up, I'll pull the barrel off and fucking throw it in fucking dumpster and go buy another barrel. What if we like? Yeah, I would love to do load it with all kind of crazy shit.
And like I said, I bought the very cheapest components I could pretty much get. The cheapest powder, the cheapest wads.
Yeah, after I buy my breaths, I'm gonna have to ask you what kind to buy and.
The really good holes I like are the Federal white holes, the high brass white holes. Like they're Federal, like I want to say it's called like Super Match or Premium Super Match, like a real long name, right? But they're the Federal white holes that are high brass. I think those are like the best reloading holes that I've used so far, where I've just like been reloading all sorts of stuff. But even the cheap steel ones, that come in the bulk packs at Walmart, I've reloaded those one time and shot them off of one reload with like no bad side effects. They look like they're good to go again, but I've just been like, I got one reload out of them. I'm good enough, right? Because it is steel, like But I've been shooting those steel ones. I've been reloading those all once.
Yeah,
So
it's a
even
good
like,
idea.
and those are low, like those are like a low brass or whatever. Those aren't high, like a high brass type steel. Those are a real low one, and they still, yeah.
Yeah, the only ones around here that have any like reloading equipment is one of the Sportsman Warehouse has quite a bit, but like the Bass Pro's got hardly anything.
And I'm
Because
shooting
I
that
know me, I'll just go to go store and buy all the things all at once.
and I'm shooting a reclaimed shot that's supposed to be 7.5, but it has some 7 and 8 mixed in with it. But it is mostly about 7.5, and some of it's a little deformed, right? Because it's reclaimed shot. That I guess
That's okay. Then it'll fly weird.
it's all
Good.
clean and everything. It's not dirty, right? And like you would think that it would fly weird, but like no, like this is what I'm getting the tighter patterns with. So it seems to like make like no difference. That like so, and granted, it's not even like half of them or even 25% of them that are weird. I would say it's like maybe 10% or something, maybe even a little less than that, where you see one that actually looks oval or has like a
So not
crease.
enough to matter.
But none of them are flat or like completely, like they're all pretty spherical, right? But some of them are more oval or will have like a crease in it or something, a little bit flattened. But
Where
pretty
the hell
much
do you
they're
get
all.
reclaimed shot?
I don't, dude. I bought it from Graff and Sons, and I don't know. I'm guessing I've seen these fields before that look like football fields, right? But like AstroTurf type stuff. So it's like it wouldn't even be like a real grass, and these guys are shooting out across this like fake field, and they have lights set up, and they shoot at night, and it's like super fancy and rich, total richy, expensive, like almost like a rich golf course type thing, right?
I want to live
And they
there.
got clubhouses with drinks and all this stuff. And I bet you they just like pull up that AstroTurf and like literally just dump the shot in there because it goes out forever, like probably way farther than that shot travels, especially light shot stuff. And these guys are shooting clays, and I bet you all those pellets, the ones that never hit the clays, they just kind of eventually fall nice and soft in the AstroTurf, and they just go and pick that crap up.
Yeah, they don't even need AstroTurf, dude. Out here, it's just desert, and if it's grass, what they'll do is just every once in a while they'll reclaim. You haven't seen ranges that'll kill their berms. They'll just go through with these machines and kind of eat the berm and spit it back out, and they pull all the lead out. And I mean, what you're talking about, they probably do because then it's a lot easier to reclaim it. But with shotgun, like the stuff that hits the barrel gets deformed, but a whole bunch of it is fine, especially if you miss, right? Like if you don't even hit the bird, then all you're doing is shoving a bunch of shot out into the wood, into the field. So I don't know what they actually do, but they sell reclaimed shot here also, and I don't know if people care if it's deformed or if they do some kind of process. Maybe it might be as simple as like put it on a ramp, and the stuff that's round is going to roll off the ramp, and everything else just sits there. They just melt everything else down for lead and let the round balls get sold as reclaimed because they're basically round. But I'm guessing because you can buy it by the 5 pound bag out here too, reclaimed.
Yeah, I've bought it now twice by the 20-pound bag from Graf's, or maybe it was 25 pounds. Like, but it's a big ass like burlap, huge bag, right? And then it comes in a box, and then it's always kind of leaking a little bit, so there's always even like shot down in the bottom of the box. But it's a heavy ass big bag, man. But dude, that's the best. I love that. Like, I have no issues with the reclaimed lead shot at all. And once in a while, like maybe like one out of every 1,000 pellets or something, one will be like a little steel one, like a little steel shot, like or a BB or something. We'll get through. Like I think I saw like one number 4 like buckshot mixed in with mine, right? So there's like the occasional like oddball in there, but for the most part, like dude, it's awesome. And for the money, it was like so much cheaper. I wouldn't even know why like I would ever want to buy anything else now, especially just for like plinking and blowing stuff up.
Yeah, blowing stuff up. Big fan.
Shotgun's my favorite thing to blow stuff up with.
Shotgun's my favorite of all the guns, but everybody's got their own thing that they like the most.
I like to go pheasant hunting with my little single shot 12 gauge, or no, it's a 20 gauge, and that thing is a little hoot. That thing's an awesome little bird gun, so light and small and just simple and just ah, I love that little gun. And every year I get a couple pheasant.
I shot a mallard with my coach gun last year.
You eat all them ducks.
Yeah,
I eat the pheasant.
I'll take the breast and I'll take the wing off them, and I don't go super crazy with it.
I've been thinking about doing dove. You can get a dove license.
But remember when avian flu was a big problem? Like, what, 15 years ago now, maybe? You're welcome. We shot all the ducks that were diseased.
Nice. What could you like obviously tell?
Well, I only shoot ones with avian flu. Oh, the other ones go. One of the reasons I want to reload is gun. The whole time I've hunted, I've shot all kinds of different kinds of ducks. I've never hit a teal. Those little fucking blue teals. They fly about 5 feet off the water. You know, like ducks usually they fly along and they're like a bumblebee. They like fly a little bit this way, a little bit that way, a little bit this way. You're not real sure where they're fucking going. Unless they're flying in the V way up there and they're like, they know where they're going. But if they're just like tooling around looking for a place
I've never hunted duck or geese, even though we have wetlands here and it's actually super popular here. I've never hunted duck or geese.
Well, teal will, like, if there's a river, they will go about 5 feet over the river and they will go in a straight fucking line. And they fly like an F-15. Like they don't fly like other ducks. And every time I've ever seen one, I'll be like walking along or something, And by the time I can even get my gun up, the fucking teal's gone. I've shot at a bunch of them, but it was either too short or too long. So my theory is if I threw in some 6s and some 3s together into one shot, that maybe I'd have a better chance. Or I'm lying to myself, and I just want to reload shit. But that's my theory. It doesn't have to make sense to everybody else. It makes sense to me.
Nope, I've never been like a strong swimmer, but I know how to swim, but I've just never been a strong swimmer. Going out there in a boat in that marshland and knowing how many people like don't make it back every year and how many search and rescues are out there and guys falling in pretty cold water still and just yeah, I'm like no, thank you.
Yeah, one of the places we
I know what they do. They do the same thing your friend you were telling me about does. They get excited and see something and they stand up. Just instinct. They stand up and shoot and fall. And their boat capsizes and they
Well,
die
that
of
guy was in a
hypothermia.
kayak. We just launched. We made about, I don't know, 80 feet from from where we launched. And sure enough, a little bit of waves. That was in the sound. I like to hunt rivers way more because, like, worst case scenario, you pick a side, get out of the fucking water. Like, there's no tide. Problem with rivers is they move really fast. It's a lot of water moving quickly. So it's hard to cross them a lot of times.
Dude, I can't believe you don't know this, being that you have so much water up there and rivers and what. You know the easiest way to cross a river?
What's that?
A bridge. They're all over the place. They're right on roads half the time.
There's one place that I'll launch sometimes because it goes towards where we hunt, but that kayak's a little precarious. And I'm not like super river kayak like ninja guy, but you just have to like book your ass right across this really rough part of the water to get to the other spot because it's with fish and wildlife land. And the only way you can get there is boat because there's a train track across it. But that's always like a little pucker moment. Last year when I was going across it, the friggin' log the size of like a telephone pole, like maybe 8 feet long, just floating down the river. I'm like, nice. And then you got to go like up the slack part, or like way the hell up from the river, and then try to paddle your real ass way over there just to try to make the boat launch. Because if you miss, you got to start over. The joy of having a kayak.
Well, I've ate duck before at a Chinese restaurant. And I
Those
think I
taste
ate it
way
at an
different than wild duck.
uncle's house once. And I think I've had it a couple times, but no, duck's never been like a thing I've gone and hunted or geese.
Yeah, ducks from like Chinese food restaurants is like a completely different duck almost. At least in my mind, it's a totally different taste. My wife can't stand it. She makes me cook them outside.
Did you see that Coast Guard guy jumping on the submarine?
Heck yeah, it comes from that.
Did you see that today, Woods?
What's that?
The Coast Guard guy jumping on the submarine that was smuggling like illegal drugs.
I did not.
Yeah, yeah. This Coast Guard guy, like all decked out in full kit, man, jumps like He's all yelling at this submarine, jumps aboard on top of it, and like pounding on the hatch, like open this thing up. All on video. It's awesome, man.
So if you're a submarine, don't you
Guys
just
open it
dive
up
at
with their
that
hands
point?
up.
I don't think
That's
they're
what I was
that.
wondering, but Coast Guard probably has depth charges to dropping grenades and stuff, right? Like diving wouldn't
It's
necessarily
not that.
save a midget submarine.
It's not that kind of submarine. I think that's a boat that's designed to have very little surface, but it's not. It's not designed to go underwater. Like that muffler and thing that it had was designed to blow air out into the water instead of just out in the air. But it wasn't designed to be
Well, I
underwater.
thought it was just up to recharge its batteries, right? Because it can't. It runs on batteries underneath the water, but when it services, it has to run on like diesel,
Oh,
right?
okay. I didn't get that impression. I got the impression it was
So
like a low watercraft.
no,
Like,
no, they submerge. No, they submerge.
oh,
It's
okay.
just that they can't submerge very far, only like 20 feet or 30 feet or something. So they can't go very far, but they run on battery for as long as they can, and then they surface and run their diesel, which propels them and charges the batteries, so
I
then
got
they can dive again.
But
And I
then they're
think they caught them right in between that time, or they either forced them to surface with, like I said, depth charges or something. I bet.
mhm.
Just
They can do anything they want. I think. I mean, they're basically law enforcement / military. They're in that no man's land, so it's
yep.
like you're a threat to our country or you're breaking the law. Either way, we can do what we
They
want
had
to.
they had 16 tons of cocaine. That could have been 6 tons of weapons grade uranium too. You know what I mean? That could have been like some even worse than cocaine. That could have been biological weapons. Who knows?
Were you watching Orange's chat earlier, or was that Sarge's chat? I think it was
I thought
Orange.
it was Orange's chat.
Did you watch that earlier? He had a art. I think it was in his chat. Somebody had an article about that guy who was like a crazy guy they caught somewhere, and he's got like open bottle of booze, uranium, and a rattlesnake.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah, where do you think that guy gets his uranium from? These Mexican submarines.
Let's see. I think I saved that. That happened in Oklahoma too. So I want to ask someone about that. So Oklahoma police say they found a rattlesnake, a canister of radioactive powdered uranium, and an open bottle of whiskey during a traffic stop of a vehicle that was reported stolen. Guthrie, Oklahoma. Wow. Luckily, the vehicle was reported stolen.
If they have some kind of competition in jail, like, hey, whoever has the best story gets like, extra dessert or whatever they do.
Uranium's going to be pretty good, right?
Yeah, I think that guy's gonna win some kind of stories.
Well, I want to know the guy's name. I want to know, I want to see a picture of this guy and see if he was like terrorist guy or if he was this like mad scientist guy, and it was just a
No, he
guy.
looks like the rain. Like that one actor. There's that one actor, and then he got like all drunk, and there's like a picture of him just with his hair is a mess, and he looks like he's been put away wet and like just.
Oh God, I'm thinking of, yeah, I know what you're talking about, but
And then there's that crazy mug shot
he
of
was
him.
like he was super big in the 80s.
Yeah. And there's
He
this
played
mug
in the
shot.
movie Eye of the Tiger.
Oh, I don't remember that, but you guys remember that mug shot where his hair is just a mess
Right.
and he's still like half 3 sheets to the wind. That's what this guy in the mug shot looks like. He looks all fucked up.
Well, that's gonna bug me who that is now.
Is it the guy?
Gary Busey.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, he played in a movie in 1986 called Eye of the Tiger, which if you've never seen it, it's a much watch movie. Like he
Is that
returns home from Vietnam, and
Did something happen to that guy and he got messed up?
Yeah,
he got into a motorcycle accident.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
that's.
And then he went extra super crazy. Did you ever watch his reality show? Any of his reality show? I'm with Busey. That guy's crazy.
Well, because after he got messed up in the motorcycle accident, he was already on like drugs, right? So then
he wasn't super normal to start with, right? Let's be straight on that. And then he just went like, I'm going to do whatever the hell I want right now, all the time. I gotta run outside. I gotta run outside and smoke. I'll be right back.
All right. That Eye of the Tiger movie was absolutely awesome.
Dead Horse.
Yeah.
His son Brandon lives in Florida in St. Cloud, Kissimmee, and is an avid full auto gun collector.
Oh, I bet if he has daddy's movie money.
Yeah, his dad suffered a severe head injury. That's why he's the way he is. Well, I mean, he's been a drunk his whole life, but he was riding his Harley, plastered drunk, and took a spill with no helmet and bounced his head off the concrete.
Mm.
Yeah, I hung out at his son's house one time. He's a friend of another friend.
How old is this kid then? How old is he's not that
He's
much.
probably in his 20s. Now he's probably in his 30s.
Okay. I was gonna say Busey's got to be like not that much older than us, right? If he's even older than us.
He's a little older than us. I believe he's in his mid 50s.
Oh, no, he's got to be in his 60s by now. Let's see. He's 75 years old.
Holy,
He doesn't look
He was
75.
born June 29th, 1944.
You know, that's
Holy
probably
mackerel.
His birthday's in a couple days, dude. Or no, it was a couple days ago. Wow.
that's probably why some of these people are actors because they look young even though they're older.
Yeah.
But he puts
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking 60s. I was thinking you guys were way under, but 75. Holy shit.
I figured maybe he was 10 years older than me or something, but yeah, that's a lot. I think his characters in a couple of movies were like 10 years older.
Wasn't he in that movie 48 Hours with Eddie Murphy? Or am I
No.
thinking of somebody else?
Nick Nolte.
Yeah, that was
Oh, okay, Nick Nolte.
Similar,
They're
though.
both big
Similar.
blonde-headed guys.
Yeah, similar. Look like football players or something.
You know, they're coming out with the new He-Man Masters of the Universe movie. That's like a live action movie, like feature film. I heard they're pulling out all the stops on it, like big budget and everything.
That would make sense. Look at how many dolls Matt has. Like that age of person has the money and remembers fondly those toys, right?
Yeah.
That was a very popular kids show on in the morning with the cartoon series.
Noah Centineo is playing He-Man. Noah Centineo. So let's see who this guy is. Noah Centineo. I guess they're like with CGI and like so the way he normally is, I can see him playing like Prince Adam. Then they're gonna have to like put him in a suit or something for He-Man, unless this guy majorly bulked up. I don't know. I can't wait to see what they do with Skeletor.
They're going to get the old governor of Florida to play him. That was his nickname. Rick Scott.
No, He-Man, dude. Masters of the Universe. On Jurassic World 3, really? God, that's... And John Wick 4. We're getting a John Wick 4 with a release date of May 21st, 2021. And another Batman with the new Batman. So what's his face? Ben Affleck's no longer playing Batman. Indiana Jones 5. Holy shit. Harrison Ford's returning. How is he returning? Oh my gosh.
He's actually not playing the main character. He's a what do they call that? He's another actor in the movie, but he is going to be in it.
Space Jam 2, 25 years after the original. That's a long time for a sequel. Mission Impossible 7, of course. Of course, number 7. A second Suicide Squad, huh? Wow.
You read next. It's Breaking 2 Electronic
Avatar
Boogaloo.
number 2. Oh, great. They're going to have the Wizard of Oz, but from the evil witch's point of view. Sherlock Holmes 3. Wow, there's some crazy stuff coming out. If you went to a movie theater right now, you would think you were like back in like 1990 with like, all these shows being up on the screen, all these remakes.
When did they ban cigarette smoking inside a movie theater?
It depended on the state.
Oh, it does. I thought it was
Yeah,
like a universal thing.
no, it was all a state thing. I know Colorado was one of the last to go. Wyoming was one of the last to go. So I remember when it was banned here and in Colorado. And when I traveled through Wyoming, I loved it so much because I could just go into any Flying J or something and go into the restaurant there and be like, smoking section, please. And yeah, I loved it. Who has the deals on projectiles right now, David?
What caliber?
40.
Have you tried? You want to shoot lead, right?
Is it even possible to get a bad value on 40? It's just always.
That is funny.
Yeah, I don't care if it's 155 or 180 grain or something odd like 170 or 165. I don't care.
You
And
want cast, right?
yeah, because it's usually cheaper.
Yeah.
If for some reason, if there was some killer deal on like plated or FMJ, I wouldn't be opposed to it, but it'd have to be a killer deal. But especially something that's like a really good bulk buy, like 5,000 or something, right?
Okay. Tomorrow I'll
Well,
dig
let's
up
keep
some
your eyes
stuff
out.
and see.
I'm not gonna be
Yeah.
buying here. I got plenty of time to buy because I can
Okay.
I have the powder. I don't have all the primers, but I do have thousands of primers. But I can still buy a couple more batches of primers, so I still have time, like before I actually have to buy the projectiles. But I'd rather buy it in a big batch and get a deal.
When you say big batch, how many are you talking?
Like 5,000
Okay, so a quite large
or
shipment.
a minimum of 1,000, right? Like
Right.
I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna do like if it was like a good enough deal at 1,000 price, I could buy. I'd be okay with that. But like if there's a deal of like 5,000, and it's a killer deal because I'm buying 5,000, I'd be more. I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Whatever happened to group buys? Like back in the forums, everybody was always scheduling like, let's buy 70,000 rounds of ammo, and then I could take 1,000, I'll take 1,000, and you get 70 people, and you buy a crate of ammo.
I did that once with 22 long rifle through a place that was at a gun show, and I got in on that with all these other guys, and we bought 100,000 rounds of 22.
There's a big place called, and I can't think of the name, so I'm trying to think of it, but there's this big place out of California, and I don't even think they have an actual location. They just have warehouses, and then they show up at every My Wall. You ever heard of My Wall? Do they go up to Utah?
I'm not sure.
They're the kind of place that, a good portion, an eighth or a quarter of a gun show will be their ammo, and they'll just come in with truckloads. They'll come in with forklifts and just drop pallets of ammo, boom, 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 set up all the warehouse shelving in the gun show, so that they got it all down. So they just import or own just tons of ammo, like just tons. So people, and they sometimes come to Tucson, but like they'll go to Phoenix twice as often as they go to Tucson. Plus, there's more people in Phoenix. So, like back in the day, the forums, like you're saying, they'd arrange and buy that company would just bring like an extra pallet for these guys, and then they would just drop it outside, so you didn't have to walk into the gun show to get it, kind of shit, because it was such a regular thing. And this is people that are doing competition shooting or whatever, so that they're shooting it all up. They just, just save on shipping and save on having to walk into the show and save on lines and everything. They would sort of just pre-order or like bulk order, and then, like you say, split up a pallet.
Yeah, maybe you should post a thing on Gun Channels.
It'd be tough with Gun Channels because of the having to then ship it to everybody. On the other hand, it might be worth it. It's not that expensive to ship, and if you get it cheap enough. And if
it depends on how big of a thing it is. If it fits its ship's box, then it's usually good deals. Because you can get 500 rounds or more to fit in a pretty small box, right?
Yeah, but you can't ship the prepaid boxes. You can't ship ammo in them.
Well, not ammo, but projectiles, just projectiles.
Oh, that's totally different. Holy crap!
Yeah.
I wasn't even thinking of that. Yeah, that's not even a hazard. Nothing. That's just lead. You could definitely send in a $5 prepaid box, or like you say, like anything that fits in here is $5. Like, good luck. You're literally filling it with the most heavy thing you could fill it with.
Yeah.
Gold bricks, probably.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not.
No, gold would weigh more, but you wouldn't have to insure it as much as you would with gold, right? You'd barely have to insure it with lead. But no, that's a good point. Just transferring projectiles, you probably could, especially with the common calibers, right?
Yep.
With all the reloaders there are.
Or I could just find a really good buy on lead, on just bulk lead itself, and I could test.
Hey, I have access to Lyman ingots, about 2,200 pounds of it at my welder shop. His old buddy used to make lead bullets, and he passed away, and he kept the lead there at the shop to, because it's quite a bit of lead. I can talk to him.
Even if you don't want 2,200 pounds of lead, what are you going to do about it? Like, I don't want this 2,200 pounds of lead here, but it's 2,200 pounds, so I guess I'm going to have 2,200 pounds of lead here.
Well, he sold some of it to reloaders, but it's just little amounts, like maybe 100 pounds here or there type of thing. And I think what he told me last time was he had 2,200 pounds still left. He's got it all stacked up in the back on his big metal shelving that he built.
But not just lead, like lead that's designed to be melted into bullets already, so it's already like fancy.
Yeah, it's I believe said it's 18 hardness, and it was made
already the right
in lime molds.
Yeah, so
what
that's
was
pretty
dead?
handy.
Yeah, 18's already like the golden point.
Because sometimes people are like, "Oh, I got a ton of lead," and they literally have a ton of lead, but it's like car weights or like some weird thing, right?
And then you got to add the other stuff to it.
Foil or like gutters used to be lead, right? Like, so it would just be like a pile of weird stuff, and then you're like, "Well, thanks. It's going to take me like I have to melt this like 7 times to get all the junk out of it," and then even then, it ain't right. It has to do stuff like that, tin or something to it to make it the right.
Yep. To make it the right brittle hardness.
So having it like already done and like prepped, like that's That's even more valuable than just plain old lead. Quite a bit more valuable.
Yeah, it's in like little 4-inch. They look like little baby gold bricks, but they say Lyman on them because of the little mold they poured it in
I got one or two.
for the
I
ingots
just like
was a
having them. They're
Lyman.
neat. Big ass, heavy little tiny things. I like them. I figured I bought it. Or I don't know what it is. I took or traded or whatever. Like, hey, let me grab these and I'll owe you something kind of thing. Because they're fucking pieces of lead where they cost $1 or $2. So I got a couple of them. My theory was to paint one of them gold and use it in videos as like a little gold bar, but I never did.
Nightwoods.
I don't know if paint would stick to a lead. It probably does.
Powder coat does.
Well, I'm talking about just for fun, just to paint a gold bar with gold spray paint, a lead bar with gold spray paint.
Yeah, I'm sure it
Good
would
in the
because it
movies,
does
yeah.
have an alloy factor. It may not stick real well, but I mean, it would probably stay on there for display purposes.
Well, I know it's worked for a minute, but I'm thinking if you could coat the whole thing with a good layer of that, because gold paint is usually pretty thick, get a good layer of it, it might hold on for a while. But I think the lead would misshape under it and it would be brittle, right? So it would, like right off the bat, even if it tried to adhere, it would be a difficult task, right? Because lead's so soft. Like every time you dented it, the paint would want to stay and the lead would conform to the being smashed.
I'm not even sure how many, if you wanted 5,000 bullets, you're going to have to do some arithmetic there, Dad, and let me know. I'd even send a couple extra for you to ship to G, because basically it's taking up his shop space. And he was telling me, why don't I start making lead bullets? And I ran it by my old lady and she was like, you're
Well,
not
you could
cooking
probably
hot
do
lead.
Well, I
you're
bet
talking like 180 grain projectiles, right? So that'd be like almost a little over 5 per 1,000 grains. So that would be times 7 would be 35 for 7,000 grains. So let's add in 2 more there for the extra 20. So that'd be 37 for every 7,000 grains. So that's 37 for every pound. So 37 for every pound. So let's say 100 pounds would make 3,700 bullets. That's how much lead you're talking about. Or 100 pounds would be 3,700 bullets.
So you're going to need like 50 pounds.
No, if 100 makes 3,700 and I want like 5,000, then I'm looking at 37 times 150 pounds. That'd be 5,550 bullets. So you're about 150 pounds of lead for a little over 5,000 projectiles at 180 grain.
Yeah, he'll be coming over in a couple of days. He's going to be dropping off some Sierra Match King bullets and some Hodgkin powder.
So the real trick would be to be like figure out the different boxes, which one would fit the most bullets to be the most economical, and then how much would it cost to ship 150 pounds through flat rate or just versus one big box. That's not like the flat rate box, maybe. Like, because when you have that many, like you'd have to be like, is it cheaper to send just a 100-pound package or a 150-pound package at once? Or is it like, can you fit like 25 pounds in these 6 boxes and it's cheaper?
Well, the problem is the post office and most shippers, they don't accept boxes that weigh over 80 pounds. So you might want to check with those freight carriers that move safes and stuff for the safe companies and see if you could just put it all in like 2 big boxes, put it on a
It'd
pallet.
have to be on a pallet, yeah. That'd be a lot. Well, that's a
That
lot
would
of
be
weight.
hilarious. Your wife is home and a semi pulls up, and she's like, "What the hell is going on?" And you're like, "I got bullets coming."
I just bought some ammo. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, I saved a bunch of money on ammo. It's just like when we go to the warehouse store.
Costco or one of those big box type things.
It's as if I bought a big thing of peanut butter.
Yeah. No, it'd be like buying a big thing of peanuts, because then I'd have to like make it into peanut butter.
It's tough to make it peanut butter. Yeah.
You could have homemade peanut butter. Go tell her.
You could just see Dead Horse out in the driveway grinding up peanuts, and every cat and dog in the house is or in the neighborhood is in his driveway. I have your replacement light, Dead.
Oh snap! I'm gonna have to break
Yeah,
out.
I got that. And they were supposed to deliver my light for my coax press as well, and that got delivered to another address. So I'm waiting on that, but I'm gonna try to get down to the post office Saturday and mail you some stuff, and Zorro as well.
Did I tell you what happened with my washing machine?
With the pump motor going
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
what happened?
So I get the first pump and I put it in, and it lasts like, like 4 or 5 days or something, and then I notice that my washer is leaking, and it's leaking right out of the bearing of the pump, right? Like not like right out of the bearing where the shaft goes into. So I'm like, ah, snap! Like pump's like bad pump, right? So do the replacements through Amazon. They send me a second one. I get the second one. I put it all in and everything. Like the very first load, it leaks, dude, right out of the same spot. So two bad pumps in a row. So I called them up complaining, and I was like, man, you know how much labor it is to take this whole washing machine out of the house, take it apart, take the pump out, like in two pumps in a row. They took that pump off the website, dude. And because there was even a couple other people recently that were like, "Oh, I'm a service technician, and this pump's absolute garbage. Didn't even last." Da da da. So there was other people, I guess, that had a problem with it recently. So they put out a bad batch or something. But like, yeah, dude, two bad pumps in a row. I got number 3 coming tomorrow. And the funny part is that all these like new ones are leaking. The old one never leaked. Not even when it broke did it leak. It just stripped. It got seized, and the metal shaft stripped out the plastic impeller, and it still never leaked. Like the old one never leaked. But I called them up and complaining, and I ended up getting like a $60 credit, dude. I was pretty stoked about that.
Where are you getting a new pump now?
I bought it again from Amazon, but a different seller, and this one's supposed to be a direct OEM Whirlpool replacement, like an actual Whirlpool one, not a direct OEM replacement, right? But like an
Made
actual
by
OEM,
Whirlpool.
yeah, an actual made by Whirlpool one. And the funny thing is only like $3 more or $2 more or something. It wasn't that much more. But the one I went with was like the Amazon Choice one, and it had free Prime shipping, so I got it super fast, right? Whereas this one, I ordered it on Monday, and I'm not getting it until tomorrow, so or Friday, today, whatever. Yeah, I guess it is technically Friday here now, so but I'm not getting it until today, so I had to wait all week for it. That's why I didn't go with that one in the first place, because I was all impatient and been like, I wanted my 2 day shipping, right? And I want it right away so I can get my machine fixed. And, ah, if it just would have been the one bad one, I wouldn't have said nothing. I just would have been like, oh, that happens. Put in the next one. If that would have worked, I would have been golden. Never would have thought twice about it. But two bad in a row, I was like, nope. I'm gonna talk to your manager. I did. Like the first guy only wanted to give me a $10 credit, and I was literally like, let me talk to your manager. Like, let me talk to someone above you. And then that guy gave me 50, so I got 10 and 50, so I got 60 total. So I was like, all right, that'll do, pig. That'll do.
How much was the pump?
The first two, like
Yeah.
13.95 or $14.
That's pretty cheap. And you said the Whirlpool one was only like 15 or 16?
Yeah, it was like 16.37 or something, or some oddball Amazon number with free shipping, but it just wasn't Prime shipping. Well, I should have noticed, like the seller I bought mine from, his name was Ximoon, like Ximoon, like total Chinese name, right? And the pumps totally say made in China on the box and everything. And I'm sure the Whirlpool one's probably made in China too, but it's made in the good China warehouse. You know, the one where they use 13-year-olds, not 8-year-olds, to put them together.
It's right across the street.
Yeah. And I'll be damned, did this a direct OEM one look exactly like the original? It did. I compared it to, to the original. It looks exactly like it in every way. It's an exact copy. It's just a piece of crap. It leaks right. They leak right out of the bearing. But anyway, Amazon bought me some reloading stuff and dog treats.
What'd you get?
The 100% natural chicken chips for my dog.
I mean, really.
I got a 458 SOCOM limited production dice.
Oh, from Lee?
Yep, and I got some of the breech lock bushings.
Awesome.
Yep, I need more of those breech lock bushings. So every time I order something now, I seem to like pick up a set here and there. And I'm still like don't have enough for all my dice.
How old do you think Charlie Cook is?
He's the Riding with Charlie guy, right? Yeah, Riding Shotgun and Charlie.
Yep.
37.
Okay, that's what I figured. So that makes him born in like 75 or no, I guess maybe 80.
Like 82 or something.
Whenever I don't know, I just kind of guess so that they kind of go in some order when they get displayed on the page. Because I know some people, like especially when they die, they'll have like their obituaries or whatever. But somebody like these people, I just kind of guessed, so that they're kind of in some semblance of uh, relationship to each other, you know. What the hell? You can't sort them. What the hell? Whole videos. There's 4 videos up here.
Did you get your free Slurpee today, David?
Too much sugar.
Oh, they don't got a sugar-free one?
No.
It needs the sugar to suspend like that, right?
I think it has something to do with physics with I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
make
It's
Slurpees
like
professionally.
It's like antifreeze. It needs that like sugar level to keep the ice at that like slush. That's why they never makes. Well, they've never made a good diet one. They'll like turn icy, or they'll just be gross. But they'll like turn it. You know, like if you ever get a sugar-free one, the syrup always goes to the bottom, and they turn a big chunk of ice on top of a gross diet juice. So you gotta like constantly stir them, or at least the experience I've had with diet ones was brief, very brief.
There's not even a lot of 7-Elevens around me. I think there's one in the entire area, and it's quite far away. We've got a lot of those Wawa stores.
I know there's one in Miami right before you go over to the bridge into Key Largo. Don't give me that.
Do you know how far from Miami I live?
Huh,
I've
yeah.
seen it on Miami Vice often, so yeah, verified.
I would love nothing more than to rent like a Ferrari Testarossa, like an old one, a white one, and get all up in the Don Johnson gear with the jacket with the shoulder pads in it, with like the teal shirt and the matching linen pants. Get out with some
Shoulder
glasses.
holster.
Oh, what?
The shoulder holster.
Yeah, that was a Galco, and they still call it the Miami or something to that effect because it was the holster he used. And I think he used a Bren 10 millimeter
Yeah.
sometimes.
Well, he did at least like partway through the series, right?
Yeah.
Started using that. I hear my dog barking. I think he's got to go outside.
Acquiring some guns. So I actually pulled my mother up in the Midwest and I said, hey, this shooting thing is pretty cool. Like I've got a gun license. I became an NRA member and I never fired a gun before. I fired a gun at that class. And I said, I think I want to get into this. And she said that my father died when I was young. And she's like, your dad had some guns. Maybe you should come out to the Midwest and get them. Nice. We had guns in the house. I had no idea. So I drove out to the Midwest. I came back with a couple shotguns and a couple handguns and joined a club, and I was up and running.
That sounds like a lot of fun. A lot of people who are kind of like they're a little bit afraid. They don't want to handle firearms, and that's okay. That's your choice to do that. But once anybody that I know that hasn't tried it out, and you put them in the range, and all the safety measures. You talk about everything that goes on with the firearm, how to be safe with it, and they get to shooting, and they're like, "I love it!" It's always the natural reaction. And I just want to touch base with what you said about what happened to you as a teacher and the instructions warnings that were given, where you're running and hiding. That's going on all over the country, and it actually, it doesn't help the situation, because oops, our video's out. Are you video? Oh, there you're back. Because it really leaves you all. That's okay. It really leaves you all as sitting ducks. That's all I can see from that. In history, we talk about this a lot on the program, just about history in itself, about your own self-preservation. The idea that we are humans and we automatically, we instinctively, want to preserve our life and the lives around us. And I don't think anybody, there's no authority on earth that can tell me that I can't defend myself.
Amen.
In any manner that I choose. So if I choose to defend myself with a bat, I can do that.
Yeah,
I can do that too. But if I choose, I'd like to go to a gun match with a gun, not a knife, because I want to be the safest that I can be. And unfortunately, we don't want a society that we have police officers on our every corner, watching everybody's move. We definitely don't want that. So you can call 911 and the police are going to come, but 9 times out of 10 they come and the incident is over.
Oh,
that's what the stats say. So by the time the police officer may get there, it literally could be too late for you.
Right. The police cars usually say to serve and protect, but it's really to observe and write a report is really what it comes down to.
Right.
I tell people when I eventually become an instructor, and I tell people when I teach classes that it takes about 14 minutes for the police to get there. Then I say that's like listening to Stairway to Heaven 2 times. So if you think it's a long time, it is. If you think it's long 1 time, listen to it twice, then the police will show up.
And it's not their fault, right? Because we're not set up to be a police state where we have law enforcement following us around, making sure we're doing nothing wrong. Okay, that would be fascist. We certainly don't want that. We want our freedom, but it goes with the territory. So us law-abiding citizens, we get to be free too.
Yeah.
And I believe gun control laws necessarily always penalize the law-abiding citizens.
They do.
The criminals, they're going to get guns anyway.
They completely are. Here in Massachusetts, we have, I did a gun class a couple of weeks ago from a gentleman who was in the military, and he moved here from Texas. And he came back up to this area because he has some family there. But he was telling me, I said, why would you move from Texas to Massachusetts, right? Other than work, I don't quite get that. But he's, with some of the firearms and the hardware that he has, he's like, you mean I can't have this? You mean I can't? I said, you can have it. You have to make changes to it. You have to take an AR, and you can only have one evil feature, and it's either one of the 5 evil features: the pistol grip, collapsible stock, flash hider, a bayonet lever, or grenade launcher. And he's like, well, mine's got a pistol grip on it. I said, well, you have to pin the stock, you have to take off the flash hider, put a muzzle brake, and you have to have the bayonet lug taken off. And he's like, are you kidding me? I said, no. He's like, what about my 30-round magazines? I said, 30-round magazines are only okay if they were made before 1994. He's like, really? I said, yes. He's like, what do I do with these? I said, give them to your friends in free America.
Right. Yeah, and that's a double standard that we got going on in the country. The Northeast states, California, New York, New Jersey, these gun control laws have gone way beyond what they were ever intended to do. So the federal government decided in 1968 to create the Gun Control Act, and the states are allowed to make laws, to support the 1968 Gun Control Act, which basically says that you have to get a background check, and the second point is that if you're determined by a judge in a hearing to be mentally incapacitated, you can't get a firearm.
Right.
And those were the 2 main functions. Now, what happens when it comes to the state? Like you were just saying, those 5, dirty words are now all of a sudden, making your firearm not operable as it used to be. And for what purpose? lives.
It certainly doesn't. There's, the Virginia Tech shooter, whose name I try not to remember, he went in with a Glock 19 and a Walther P22. The Walther P22 is a 22 caliber semi-auto with a 10-round magazine. The Glock 19s, you can have 10 rounders, you can have 15 rounders, you can have 17 rounders. He went in with 2 handguns and a lot of magazines. And this is what's crazy about Massachusetts is we can have 10-round magazines, but nothing prevents us from carrying 7 or 8 of them. So we can still carry, whatever, 20, 30, 40, 50 rounds on you if you want. Not that people do, not that people should, but the police get to carry the high-cap magazines. They've got at least 15 rounds in their gun, and they usually have 2 spare magazines that are 15 rounders as well.
Right, and who is the government? What are the states doing? Like, they're making all these little rules that go far beyond what the Gun Control Act says, and I'm just like dumbfounded how they keep getting away with it. So the legislatures get together and they don't really know the logistics about firearms. They don't necessarily like the Second Amendment, but they're creating these laws that absolutely make no sense to gun users, gun owners like you and I.
Yeah, this is true. I tell people in my class too, I said, people that make gun laws don't know about guns. It's like me writing a book on what to expect when you're expecting. I don't know what to expect. It's
right.
I don't understand how all that would work. That's not anything that I know. But they take all the feel-good stuff and, hey, well, we need to ban these. We can't stop criminals from doing anything, so we're going to say that you can't have this item or that item, or this looks mean. I would like to find a way. You ready for this? This is crazy talk. I would like to find a way to ban people from having lots of muscles. Because here's what I'm a middle-aged guy. I've been waiting. I've had the dad bod since I was in junior high. So I'm excited about this. People with muscles look like they could kick my butt, right? You look like the Hulk. You have large capacity muscles. What do you need all those muscles for? Really? What's the sense of having all that stuff?
Yeah, they're kind of scary.
Right.
Yeah. Big man, big muscles. I don't know.
This is why when you go to a nightclub, the bouncer's always a big, muscular guy. So it's completely ridiculous. And we should, I don't know, maybe we should ban people. But here's the thing, you start think like you're gonna ban how many muscles they can have, they're gonna be like, well, why would you do that? I don't know. I'm not a guy that works out, and I don't have a okay, I'll admit it. But stuff. I'm not gonna tell you that there's you should only work out to be a certain size or only lift so many weights. Don't tell me what I can do. I've gotten to the point where I'm so down with freedom that I'm not gonna tell you what to do, and I don't want you to tell me what to do. And my rights end where yours begin, and yours end where mine begin. And if you don't want to have a gun, if you don't want to carry a gun, that's fine. I don't have a problem with it. I don't want you to make me not carry one because you don't want to.
That's a great analogy. I like that very much. It's also the same. I like to use this one. People talk, the gun banners, they talk a lot about children safety, which is very important, of course. But the reality is that children under the age of 5 and under, the highest cause of death is by drowning. So if we wanted to prevent, child killing, and it's accidental, 9 times out of 10, and surely we could ban pools.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We need some common sense pool registration.
So the idea is that if we want to call ourselves a free country, we have to take responsibility for our own actions and inaction sometimes. And I think the best way to learn about guns is to go to the experts. Like even in Hollywood, when they're doing like a gun scene, they always show the gunman with their finger on the trigger. Who does that? Dangerous people do that. You have to learn about gun. If you want to use a firearm, it's the same thing as wanting to drive a car. Driving a motor vehicle is a dangerous thing, right? You have to practice. You have to get a permit. You have to do all these things.
Right.
And responsible gun owners do that, just like responsible car drivers. you want to protect yourself and others around you. And, you know, people out there in general, the public, if you want to know about the specifics or the logistics of firearms, it's really simple. Like, go talk to Charlie Cook. You know, come talk to me. Go talk to the experts out there. Yeah, I lost you for a second. You know, we're the ones who are going to be upfront with you. We're going to tell you the truth. So the reality is, everybody out there, do not put your finger on the trigger unless you have your sight in your scope and you are ready to kill. You are ready to destroy whatever is in your. You know, you're not walking around the range or anything with. Every time I see that, I want to shoot myself. You don't put your finger on the trigger. Like, why don't the directors go talk to the NRA or Gun Rights of America? You know, get feedback. This is how you use a gun properly. You know, it's all this misinformation out there that gets really frustrating. I want to talk about something going on in the news right now. So there was a mass shooting at a nightclub in California, yesterday morning.
A couple days ago.
It's been a couple of days now.
Yeah.
12 people shot dead. Of course, I see it on my social media feeds about the call for gun control. Every time, you know, a terrible incident does happen, the gun banners, the politicians, they're screaming at the top of their lungs that we need gun control. What would be your answer to that?
We don't need gun control. We need some gun education. People need to learn how to be safe with a gun. I've talked to a lot of friends of mine that are non-gun folks, and this is kind of a fun conversation. They like to tell me that we need universal background checks, right? So if I have a gun license, I have to go through 2 background checks in order to get my gun license. I go through a background check with the local police, and then I go through one with the state police. And if I want to sell a gun to someone else who has a gun license, they've gone through 2 background checks. So I actually had a conversation with a friend of mine about all this, and I said, I go through a background check every 6 years in Massachusetts for my own gun license. I go through one every 5 years in Utah as a Utah permit holder, and I go through one every 3 years as a Utah instructor. So I turned to my friend, I said, so if I have somebody else that's been through all of this and they've got their license and they've gone through background checks, why can't I transfer a gun to them? And they're always like, well, you should go through a background check because they could have committed a crime. I said, well, if they committed a crime, then there's a real good chance they're going to lose their gun license and their guns are going to be confiscated. And then I tell them, I say, hey, you don't have a gun license, do you? And they're like, no, I don't have a gun license. I said, so you haven't been through a background check. You could be a criminal. And then I hang up on them, and then we don't talk.
Yeah, like, are we like innocent until proven guilty? Like, isn't that like foundation of our society?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. We really need to teach people about not just about gun safety, but we need to teach people, okay, well, that's what this is. I tell people all the time, I say, listen, an AR-15, I had a class a couple weeks ago, and and he was a teacher, and he's like, you know what, I'm a little concerned about, AR-15s. I'm like, well, it's just a semi-automatic rifle. And I said, if you've been in the military since the 1960s, that's what you trained on. And the gentleman was in the class a few days ago. He was in the military. The 2 guns that he wanted when he got out were an AR-15 because he trained on one of those, and a Beretta 92 because he trained on an M9. That's what he's familiar with. And I say, these just look mean. I hate to even air quotes when I say all that stuff, but that's just how they look. And then I ask him, have you ever driven a Jeep before? Oh yeah, I had a Jeep when I was younger. Okay, that's a military vehicle. You have cargo pants or cargo shorts? Of course I have cargo shorts. I got a lot of stuff that I carry in the pockets in the summertime. Those are military pants. You wear camouflage? Oh, sometimes, I got a camouflage pair of shorts. Okay, that's military clothes too. So we're into this, I don't want to say we're militant, but we're into having that sort of stuff.
Yeah, we're Americans. I mean, cowboys and Indians. Right? I don't think you're allowed to play that as a kid anymore.
No, it's.
They don't even. And I'm in Florida. So a few years ago, they were having my son's elementary school was having parent day, and if you can come in and you can talk about your career, what you do for a living, and so on. So at the time, I was writing for Human Events, and I was the gun rights writer. That was my job. I wrote about gun rights. So I I had a conversation with the school teacher, and I said, well, I'm a writer for a conservative news journal, and I write about the Second Amendment. So I want to talk about that. And she was like,
when my son was
she said, Raquel, you can't even wear a shirt with a gun on it.
So when my son was doing the Revolutionary War in elementary school, I emailed the principal and the teacher, and I said, "Hey, I have an old musket I'd like to bring in and talk about firearms." And they're like, "Yeah, no, you can't do it."
And the thing is, it really takes away from the kids because they don't learn that history. I mean, how fantastic would that be for you to come in with a musket, and show the class, which is really history. And that would have been fascinating for them. And now they don't even, they don't get to do that. Back in the day, a long time ago, there used to be gun ranges underneath the public schools.
Oh yeah, in the school, sure. With all these pictures come up every few months on social media where there's a school, and honestly, the ones that I see the most are either young kids, probably 9 to 12 years old, or a group of women. And they're shooting in the basement, in the hallways.
Yeah, nobody was shooting up, schools back then either, or, a nightclub. At least that wasn't, it's not really common. When you look at the stats, it's not as common as, would like you to believe. I think the problem is more like a breakdown of family and a breakdown of values, and kids really have to be taught, right from wrong. That's the parents' job. I think this generation, I guess below us, Charlie, I don't know that they, were held accountable for their own actions. So they're sort of like, everybody gets an award, everybody wins ball, everybody's MVP. Yeah, they don't play dodgeball in school. Did you play dodgeball when you were a kid?
Not only did we play dodgeball, we used to play this game called, oh my gosh, what was it? I think it was called wall ball. And what we would do is we would get in like this small crunch down fetal position, and our friends would throw tennis balls at us. I tell my kids that we did this. I said, this is what we did before the internet. We would throw balls at each other. Like one guy was the target. We would throw balls. We'd each get like 5 chances to throw a ball. And, you get 5 chances, and then somebody else tries to throw the ball and hits you. And if you get hit, then their turn is over, and then somebody else goes over.
And then you get to do it to them back. You get to hit them back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you just do your head. It's really simple. I remember playing dodgeball. Just throw me in the head. Or, you ever play paintball?
I've never played paintball. I know a couple guys who do. I've never gotten into it.
I did it once. And it was like a family. It was like a family event, and it was in my 20s. And my older brother, who was like a thorn in my side all the time, telling me what to do. So he was on the opposing side, which was bad, and he was all camouflaged. He was all really into the pink. It was his idea. So as soon as you break up, and then they're coming, my brother's facing me, and he's like, I'm gonna get you. And I start running. I'm running so fast. I was like, terrible. He catches up to me. Boom, 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 boom. But I survived.
Holy.
Of course you survived.
Yeah, I'm not having nightmares. I'm not having PTSD. Oh, incident.
Right, you got a couple of bruises, you'll be fine. You have some ice cream, it'll be.
That is a loud podcast right there.
Exactly, but it's a different time. What would be your suggestion?
7 people
Charlie,
watching. I don't know if anybody's out there.
How do we, as a society, prevent these mass shootings from occurring? Because they're really horrific.
Well, first of all, having been a teacher for the last 25 years, I'm all for allowing teachers to carry if they want to carry. And if they do want to carry, then give them the same scenario training that the police have. And whether it's through, I know a lot of people do the ALICE program. I know some folks that do the faster.org.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that do that, and that seems to be better than the ALICE program. But if the teachers want to do it, give them, let them carry, give them training. There are plenty of teachers that I've met in my career as a teacher that I don't want them to have a gun. And I think that when people say, well, if the teacher's going to shoot kids to get them to be quiet, first of all, it's not going to get them to be quiet. And second of all, that's completely ridiculous. If you think your teacher or your kid's teacher is that unhinged, that if they don't come in from recess, the teacher's going to pull a gun on them, you have no idea why people carry a gun. It's a self-defense tool. And like you were talking about earlier, I want to be able to protect myself and my kids, and I owe it to my kids to be able to protect them and to be able to protect me. They're my kids. I need to instill, I mean, talk about instilling value. I need to instill the value of my own kid's life into them. And I need to instill it, you know, I have it for myself as well. So I think if we teach, you know, take a lot of the, what's the word I'm looking for? Take a lot of the, I don't want to say I want to give people more knowledge about what it is and what they have and how they use these things, and maybe what are the likelihoods that you're ever going to end up in a situation. You know, because I've got a lot of friends who are like, well, you know, you carried a gun for the last 10 years. Do you ever need to use it? No, I've never needed to use it. But I've also worn my seatbelt every time I get in the car, and I've never needed to use that either.
Right.
So it's giving people an education. I think a lot of it also, besides the societal stuff, that the family change and keeping the family unit together and all that, I really think that if bad guys went to jail, that would be great. Like we really have a revolving door of justice where people come in, a guy commits a crime, here in Massachusetts, I read about it in the paper all the time. Somebody commits a crime, armed robbery, they plead guilty to robbery, they throw out the armed charge, then he never ever had a gun. Didn't even happen with the gun. He gets probation, he's right back out on the street in the afternoon. And it happens all the time. So if we have these, you know, bad guys, we have them in jail. If we just enforce the laws that we have. When Joe Biden was president, he came out at one point. He said, "Hey, you know, we need to. We've got 22,000 laws on the books. They don't work. We really need some better laws." What do you need better laws? Like, some things can't be more illegal. It's not more illegal to rape and rob and murder someone. It's already illegal. How do you make it more illegal?
Yeah, that is true, and Congress really needs to stop that. Because it's law upon law. It's very duplicative. It's just the same laws that they keep making up. Sometimes I just want them to stay home.
Oh, absolutely. Here in Massachusetts, we have this thing that was passed. It's called the ERPO. It's the Extreme Risk Protection Order, and it's the red flag bill. And basically, what it says is, if you are a threat to you or someone else, that person can report you, and the police will come. If you have, now, first of all, it only affects people with guns, because if people that have a gun license, if you have a gun license, they're going to come confiscate your guns. We already have that. It's called a restraining order. You fill out the restraining order. If you have a restraining order pulled against you, they come to your house. If you have a gun license, they're going to find this out. They're going to take your gun license. They're going to take your guns. We already have that. What do we need it for twice?
Yes, that is true, and it really is. I believe unconstitutional to do that anyway, because you don't have due process. They're confiscating guns licensed from licensed owners who haven't done anything wrong. Right. So I haven't committed a crime yet. If I were to go to the emergency room in New York, if I were to go to the emergency room in New York, and this happened to somebody who went in for insomnia. So the doctor prescribed him some sleeping medication, and he went home, adios, slept a couple of days. Next thing you know, he gets a call from the sheriff's office. This is out in Nassau County, Long Island, and they're like, "Yeah, we're coming to get your guns. Get ready." Excuse me, why are you coming to get my guns? What did I do wrong? There happened to be a call from just a medical employee. It doesn't even have to be any kind of expert. It was just some employee in the medical field that wanted to, tattletale. This guy had insomnia, and he also is a firearm owner, and they're very arbitrarily choosing and deciding who has rights or not. So he goes to, he gets hires a lawyer, he has to pursue it in court. This costs money. For what? Because he went to the emergency room and complained about having insomnia.
Crazy. I had I had a back surgery about a year and a half ago, and I had a hard time walking. My leg gave in, all this stuff. Anyway, I went to the ER I couldn't get any answers from my doctor. I went to the ER, knowing full well I'm going to eventually end up at a hospital. What I'm trying to say is I didn't have any guns on me. I just had knives. So I go to the hospital. I find out that they want to do an MRI. So I have to strip down to the Johnny, or whatever, put on some the hospital clothes. And I had to take all my stuff, and they're like, okay, we're going to put your clothes in a bag, and we're going to put you here. And I'm like, well, so I have my wallet in there. I had some cash in there. And they're like, is there anything else? I'm like, I got 3 knives. And she's like, oh my God, you have 3 knives? I said, listen, I said, I'm a gun instructor. I knew I was coming here. If I didn't know I was coming here, I would have had a gun on me as well. It's nuts.
Did they treat you like a bad guy?
No, I'm not a bad guy. I just, sometimes.
Did they treat you like that? Did they treat you like that?
Yeah, she kind of looked at me kind of weird. I'm like, look, the doctor has a scalpel. Isn't that a fancy knife?
Good point.
Great.
Yeah, it's very natural, I think, for us, and just throughout history, it's really this self-preservation, self-defense. And of course, the founding fathers knew, it wasn't just for self-defense against the common criminal. So, it's also that barrier against the tyrannical government, because in history, tyrannical governments always disarm. They always disarm